Turbulence. It's uncomfortable at times, but it's something you must go through to get to your destination. And don't let it scare you. So again, gotta get there. And in a minute, we will be talking to a businesswoman who lives by that philosophy. And I hear she makes one hell of a garlic crack crab right here at the Nasdaq. You're in the enterprise zone. Tasha Smith coming right up. Hello everyone, this is Jabari Young here at the Nasdaq. You're in the enterprise zone. I am joined by a special guest, the multi-talented Tasha Smith, actor, director, teacher. You know her as Angela Williams from Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? Thank you so much, Tasha, for joining us at the Nasdaq. This is such a pleasure. I'm a fan. I really am.
Well, I'm a fan too, Jabari. You're amazing. I'm
you.
So happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Seriously.
I appreciate it. Yeah, this is great.
Thank
you
you,
look beautiful, too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Happy belated birthday.
Thank
February
you.
Birthday, right?
Listen, my what?
February, right?
Yes, February 28th.
Pisces.
It gets greater later, as my friend Bevy Smith would say.
I love that. I love it. It gets greater later. Listen, we're here at the Nasdaq, so you got to give me a stock, right? Something that maybe Tasha Smith maybe wanted, she bought, has done well for her. What are you interested in?
Oh my goodness. I wish I would have invested in Uber, to be honest.
Wow, you still can this time?
I mean, you know, like that's something, because I had a friend that told me about it early on and I didn't do it, but I wish I would have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, Uber, I'll go back to the day I say, man, Microsoft, a whole bunch of things that you might
Apple, all the tech stuff, honestly. And it's something, because a lot of us, I feel like I was very afraid to invest in things like that because of just lack of education. And that's why you and your show is so wonderful and so important to our culture.
Yeah, well, listen, it's so funny because I was talking to a baseball player and he has all the money in the world. He said the exact same thing, like, you know, I just didn't know how to get in, right? And so, but, you know, have these great conversations. It's what's important. Well, we're Financial Literacy Month is in April, so tell me, what is the best piece of money management advice you've ever received?
You know, honestly, money management advice would have been like, there was a time I used to like be afraid of credit cards. Because at one time in my career, I was very much in debt. And this was like maybe 20 years ago, and I just cut off all credit cards. I didn't have a credit card for probably like almost 10 years.
Wow.
Can you believe that? Like literally.
But how did you manage?
I was just debit. Like, exactly. And then I was like, that's not smart.
Yeah, you got to know how to work the system.
Exactly. And that was something that I learned, but I thought I was doing well by myself by not, you know, accumulating debt, but then I wasn't even accumulating good credit.
Absolutely, yeah. And listen, look, we live in a country that we're in debt. We run on debt,
Hello.
right? Absolutely, you gotta do it. Absolutely. Well, I love that. What's the worst piece of money management advice you probably
cut off all my credit cards.
To cut off all your credit cards. Right? See, look at that. Sometimes we talk about credit cards, we put them in such a bad light, but you don't know how to use them.
Exactly.
How was life at age 54 for you?
Honestly, I feel at my best. I feel at my best right now, and I feel more confident. I feel more aware of just who I am. I feel more comfortable in myself, in my skin. I don't have the fear I had 20 years ago because I felt like I was constantly walking around afraid of myself, afraid of just life, just lived in fear so much. But I feel now, I feel like I'm just at the best time of my life. You know that saying that says your latter days will be greater than your beginning? That's how I feel.
It don't feel like that in the moment though, right? When you're in the beginning days, you're like, when is it going to get better?
Exactly, but it's like when you think about like when you push over 50, you've gone through so many things. You've gained so much wisdom through the trials and tribulation and obstacles that you've had to deal with, and a lot of those things do make you feel stronger. It's funny how you started off talking about turbulence. Like, I used to be afraid to fly. I mean, I used to be terrified. Whenever I felt turbulence, I felt like it was a problem, right? But then this guy that was sitting next to me one day saw me shaking on the plane. He said, it's like a bump in the road, right? And just because we have a bump in the road does not mean we're not gonna get to our destination. You know, and sometimes turbulence is just a little bump in the road. And sometimes we may have to just kind of like glide through it and allow it to happen. but then we're still gonna land where we're supposed to land.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot has happened so far in 2025, right? And so I always say, you know, music connects us. What's been the soundtrack to your 2025?
Ooh,
Is it Sade?
No,
what you got going on?
It's actually not. I mean, I've been listening a lot to Terrace Martin. Terrace Martin.
Yeah.
Terrace Martin has gotten Robert Glasper. Honestly, they have gotten me through a lot.
Yeah.
And I have been just in this Terrace Martin phase right now.
Yeah.
Valdez on Crenshaw is one of my favorite Terrace Martin
That brother
songs.
is so talented.
He
Plays
is
the trumpet
so
and man.
talented.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just brilliant. So Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper is the vibe.
It's
I'm
funny,
on
Robert
right
Glasper
now.
was just in Philly not too long ago, and I was so mad because I missed him, but I did catch someone who I'm sure you would appreciate, TK Kirkland.
Oh, yeah. TK.
I caught TK down
and can
there,
I tell you, Terrace Martin is going to be at the Blue Note coming up
there you
this
go.
month in April.
Are you
like
going?
towards the end of April. I plan to come back.
Okay.
I got to fly to LA quickly, and then I plan to
So
come
you'll
back
be in the
to
back
go.
with the incognito hat on?
No, I'm not going to be incognito. I'm going to be right there at the stage listening to my brother play that sax.
Yeah, I might have to be right next to you.
Come on,
jamming
let's
it
go.
up. Yeah, let's
I'll
go.
treat you. I'll take you.
Oh, there you go. Listen, if you going, if you paying, I'm here. Listen, let's get into some news though, because you said you got to fly back out to LA, and you're busy right now, right?
Yes,
You're on the road promoting a new series, Survival of the Thickest.
Yes,
season 2.
and oh my God, season 2.
Well, you play a millionaire, a businesswoman.
I play a
right?
bad chick with
Yeah.
a lot of money. It was a line that she said to Mavis. Mavis was asking Michelle Buteau's character, you know, saying that she needed to get a bank loan.
Yeah.
And I said, my character said, I am a bank loan, okay? It's so cool to have friends with money that are willing to invest in your business, you know, and I just love that character. I love Mavis. I love Khalil. I love Peppermint. I mean, it's such a wonderful show. I looked at it for the first time the other night, and I gotta tell you, I was like, this is good. And I'm not just saying it because I got the opportunity to be in it, but it's a solid show. It is just so funny, full of heart, full of love, full of joy. It's amazing. I am so proud of this season.
Hey, is there any difference when you play a businesswoman? Because again, we know you as Angela, right? And you know, everybody knows the Tyler Perry show, the loudmouth Angela, but we love her. But is there any difference? Because, you know, some of my favorite movies, and I tell friends this all the time, is The Wood and The Brothers. Like, people who put black men in such a beautiful light and that was doing some great business, right?
Yes.
Is this any role? Does this businesswoman go
I
for you?
love it. I love it because a lot of times, you know, it's like people want to only share the stories of like our mishaps or our financial, you know, discouragement and all of those things. But to have a black woman that is a business woman, just financially successful, walking in a room full of white businessmen, telling them to shut the up. I mean, it is like, it's a little bit of that Angela energy in this businesswoman. I love how bold she is, how fearless she is, but I just love what she represents, that she has money, she's financially stable enough to be able to help all her friends. Her cup is running over. It is fantastic. I love it.
It reminds me of the character Vivica Fox played on Two Can Play That Game.
Yes,
right?
remember that?
Yes, she was gotten her drop top and all her friends. I'm like, this is phenomenal.
I love
it's
it.
Great.
I
it's
love
great.
it. And Vivica really fought hard to make sure she was in that kind of car, wearing those kind of suits. It was just beautiful.
Man, that's powerful too.
Yeah.
That's powerful because it leaves such a lasting image. Again, I still remember that years later.
Yeah, and I want to represent, you know, something that young girls could look up to and want to be, you know, when they get older. Honestly, it's a blessing.
Well, you have another role in a Lifetime project too, Desire, a temptation story, and you know, you play a talk show host, and it's romantic, you know, involving your executive producer, and you have a guy named Adrian Holmes who people always tell me I look like. They tell me I have a
No,
I don't think I look like him.
Y'all do
You think so?
Yes,
Really? So I can play a stunt double maybe?
Listen, come on. Yes, you could.
Okay.
Yes, I work with Adrian Holmes. You know, I got a chance to direct him on Bel Air.
Yeah.
And when I directed him twice on Bel Air, and I just loved him so much. He's such a beautiful black man. He's wonderful. He was so kind to the cast, to, you know, Cassandra, who plays Aunt Viv. And I was just like, I want a leading man like that.
Yeah.
You know, and when I got this movie and we're like trying to figure out who's gonna play my love interest, I said Adrian Holmes.
Wow.
And I called him and I asked him if he would come and do that with me, and he did.
You didn't know me yet at the point.
I know him. I Jabari, I would have.
And I would have auditioned too. I would have done it the right way. I'd auditioned.
Well, we would have had love scenes.
Well, listen, listen. What's been the biggest positive surprise for you as far as being an actor/director? Like, how's that been?
Honestly, I would say my comfortability as a director. You know, I have an acting school called TSAW, and I taught acting for many years, and I always felt like I was empowering other people, right, to pursue their purpose in the arts and in acting. But all those years of teaching acting, I realized God put me there to do that, for me to also learn how to communicate with actors. And that was a blessing, and that helped me to be very comfortable as a director, not being afraid to talk to the actor, to give notes, to give direction, to give my perspective of the character's journey and things like that. So teaching acting really helped me be more comfortable than I thought I could ever be as a director. Because I had a lot of fear in the beginning as a director, but it really helped me to be very comfortable.
Yeah, and I was reading or listening to something that you said about being a director. You said it was creatively stimulating because, you know, your voice is heard across the board, right? How does Tasha Smith, how do you lead on set?
Oh, I'm motivating, loud, inspiring. You know, I feel like the crew is my family, you know what I mean? And you want your family to feel good when they come to your house, right? When you welcome people into your home, you want it to feel festive and happy and welcoming, and that's the energy that I like to lead with. I feel like it's a collaborative effort. It takes all of us to tell the story. So embracing everyone and allowing people's voices to be heard, whether it's the props, whether it's the, you know, the AD, whether it's your DP, whether it's your camera department. Everyone may have a great idea that could be the idea for you. I remember one time someone, like a PA, had suggested something to me, and I was like, that's a great idea, I'll take it. I just love being on set. I'm a crew girl, and I just love it. I feel like I'm at home with family.
Yeah, it's the passion. And you know, I guess you have to be very good with budgeting too, because I'll say it like this: 20 minutes, 7 shots.
Oh, baby.
Right? That was the Empire episode that you had. You had 20 minutes to get 7 shots. That budgeting is that.
No, it's real,
yeah.
And it's very real. And I always tell other directors that I talk to that's just getting into, especially directing television, you know, going 10 minutes over, 20 minutes over could cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So you being prepared, being efficient, being clear, being decisive about what you want, because 10 minutes of indecisiveness can throw off your entire day, could cost the production much more money. So I try to go in there very focused, very clear about the story I want to tell, making sure everyone else is on board and is clear about what I want, and being decisive and trusting the choices I've made so that we can continue to execute the day.
Yeah. When you have to put yourself back in that role as an actor, what's your day-to-day like? So you get up in the morning, you know, you're Tasha Smith actor now, right? The director's done, you got your, now you're back to an actor. What's your day-to-day as an actor?
Well, you know, directing made me respect like just production as a whole, being on time, being prepared, not allowing myself to be sitting in hair and makeup longer than I'm supposed to, because that could eat up the director's time. So now I'm more mindful of the process of the director. So I try to go in there prepared, know my lines, know my work, and be on time. And that's something I would suggest to all the other actors out there, especially the new ones that are coming into, you know, doing television and things like that. Be prepared. The more prepared you are, the more opportunity the director has to tell their story.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I hear you, and you look, your growth has been amazing. Again, you know, when I first started watching you was a while ago, and I'll tell you when. It was On the Corner, right? And on HBO, right? And I'll get to that in 1 second, but you know, your story, again, it touches me because we were right over the bridge. You're from Camden, I'm from Philadelphia, but for you, what was that like growing up in Camden for you?
It was, honestly, it was very rough. I had a lot of obstacles, a lot. A lot of people don't know. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I was like bartending at a strip club. I was a stripper. I wasn't that good at it. Thank God I'm an actress and a director, okay? But it was just a lot of things I experienced that took away a lot of my confidence and stuff like that. you know, and so that's why it's almost like a miracle for me to be here. But I'm resilient, and I just feel like with all the other people out there, they may be in uncomfortable, discouraging circumstances, but God has a future. Don't live in the past.
Yeah.
Don't live in the mistakes you've made, the hurt you've experienced, because that's the very thing that could prevent you from living in your future. Your future could be 10 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now, an hour from now, but literally just forgiving myself, you know, allowing myself to heal and allowing myself to look forward and expect good things and work hard. Honestly, we have to be a good steward over the things and the opportunities that are in front of us, but we can't really move forward if we keep looking backwards.
In your trailer, when you just have a moment of quiet time, do you ever just transform and go back to the, you know, future? It's one of my favorite movies, but got back to the past and just revisit that 6-year-old girl in your bed, sitting with your sister, dreaming, right? You wanted her to be Shaka Khan. You would be Diana Ross, right? At Stevie Wonder's house in a party. She would always fall asleep. But then you would still walk down the block dreaming of being an actor, right? And then your grandfather was also an actor, right? He was on Roots. He was on an extra on Taxi, right? Does that, when you're sitting in your trailer and you're just thinking about those times when you're dreaming, does it bring back emotion at all?
It does. It actually brings emotion back right now. And that's why I feel like I'm always like very grateful for every opportunity that I have, because that was just a dream. Like, I'm literally living my dream, Jabari. I used to be in the streets of Camden telling people one day I'm gonna go to Hollywood, I'm gonna be an actor, and it seemed like it was something that was so far, like it was such a far reach, but it was such a deep dream. And so sometimes when I'm in that trailer, it makes me wanna cry, and it makes me want to be as kind as possible. I remember one day I was like praying, just saying, God, I just wanna like stay in this just so I can see if this dream I have will come true. And I gotta tell you, like, for it to have come true in the way that it has, I said to God, I promise you, I will be the kindest person. I will be the biggest giver. I will be the most gracious human if this dream comes true. And Jabari, that's how I try to represent myself. That's who I try to be, because I never forget about the 6-year-old girl that was in that bed dreaming, okay? Dreaming.
And I know, again, you come from Camden, and I'll tell people, listen, Philly's rough. Philly is very rough.
So you know
when it
what's
comes
up.
to Camden, we were told, look, man, you zoom past Camden. Don't stop, keep going, because it was bad.
It was bad.
Horrible.
And honestly, and you know it was bad. Like, it was one of the highest rated crime cities in America, right? But it gave me so much tenacity and so much resilience and so much like strength and power, even mixed in the fear. I still said, you know what, I'm just gonna do life afraid. The things that I experienced in Camden, most people would crack and crumble and would not be able to recover from it.
Or worse, fall to their environment, and we've seen that a lot.
Trust me. Exactly.
But then you got to this party, Tisha Campbell's there, right? And then Little Shop of Horrors, y'all know her. She gets to meet Gina Martin.
Isn't that
and then you invite Tisha to your house, y'all having spaghetti, and a mouse comes rolling. That's crazy.
It's so funny, because me and Bernicia was talking. I said, did y'all have, because my makeup artist, she's from London. I said, y'all got a lot of mice and stuff in London? She was like, yes. But yes, it's so funny, because I invited Tisha. Look at me being all bold, inviting this movie star to my house. And she came over, and when that mouse ran across her feet, she stayed eating that spaghetti with her feet up. She was like, I'm good, but she kept them feet up off the ground. I was so embarrassed.
But listen, that created opportunity, because again, you move back to LA and you're doing stand-up. Right? You're doing it, and you see Guy Torrey and Chappelle. Again, I'm sure TK was out there.
Yes,
TK.
LA. You know, people used to call me the female TK Kirkland.
Is that right?
Because my mouth was so dirty.
You gotta get back on stage.
So dirty. But Tisha, she was the one that had taken me to the Comedy Act Theater to see Martin, and that's what made me fall in love with comedy. Seeing Martin Lawrence up on that stage, I would go back to the Comedy Act Theater every week, and it was like that was my church. I would just sit in the back, listen to comics, and I would try to give little notes, and Joe Torre was the one that like told me I needed to get up on stage. And I said, Joe, I don't know what to talk about. He said, talk about your life. I said, but my life is so dirty. He was like, well, talk about it.
That's right.
Talk about it. And that's where I met, you know, Eddie Griffin during that time, Dave Chappelle, you know, who's been such a big brother, big little brother, because I'm actually older than him, but he's like my big brother, mentor. He's been such a blessing in my life, even to this day, like just such a blessing. And when you have friends like that, for me, I just want to make my friends proud. I want them to see how focused I am. You know, even talking about the corner, I know we got a second before we talk about that, but can I talk about it? Okay, because I don't know if you know this, but I used to be Charles Dutton's assistant. I was his assistant. I was the one cleaning up his dog poop. He had this dog, this pit bull that I was terrified of, named Hawkeye, right? And I was terrified. But Charles Dutton, he introduced me to so much. He was a mentor of mine as well. And I used to clean his house. I used to cook for him. I still cook for him. He loved my cooking. And whenever he would have guests over, right? I call him Charlie. Charles Dutton, he had this china, this fine china, and then he had these regular glasses. And when certain people come over, he'd be like, pull out the fine china. And then some people come over, he'd be like, nah, don't get him the fine china. You know, it was so funny, but I would cook for him, clean for him, and getting the opportunity to work with him on the corner. And I had to audition. Although I worked for him, he still made me work for it. But that was such an incredible experience. It was like I came from comedy and I got an opportunity for people to see me do something more dramatic. But it was so wonderful playing Ronnie Boyce in the corner, directed by Charles Rock Dutton.
I remember that that show opened up for The Wire, and HBO went hardcore at that. But I said, man, it started with the corner. I was around, but it was the corner that was
one of the best roles of my life.
Absolutely. And then 1996, Boston Comedy NBC show. But you mentioned Charles Dutton. When you hear that name, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh, I was raised by wolves. Like, Charles Dutton is a strong man, you know, with a lot of integrity when it comes to his culture and the things that he taught me, and just also the work ethic that he instilled in me as an actor, as a producer, as a director. I was his assistant on one of his first films that he directed, and even to this day, I'm always like FaceTiming him when I'm on set, and I'm like, look at me, Charlie, I'm doing just like you, okay? Because he was such a strong, strong presence in my life, and I am so grateful for Charles Dutton.
One word when you hear the name, and just one word, when you hear the name Tyler Perry, what do you think about? Just the one word.
A dreamer.
A dreamer. Why a dreamer?
Because I remember being around Tyler when he wanted to do exactly what he's doing now.
Like you?
Yeah. And I remember the second studio. He had this smaller studio on Krog Street, and then he went to the second one that was like near the air. It was like, I think it was like an old airport hangar. But I remember that there were gates around that property, and we would go there, and he would tell me, this is going to be my next studio. And I can't remember if he put scriptures up there, but we would pray over that gate, and there were scriptures on, like, taped to the gate, and we would just pray and decree and declare, and just seeing him go from opening up that studio to then opening up this big studio that he has. Like, I literally saw that man dream, and I saw his dreams come into fruition. And he is definitely a very hard-working person. He works very tenaciously.
What did you learn about, from Tyler, and that you're applying to business now? Because you're your own businesswoman as well. You got your own school, you're a director, actor.
What is having faith in myself and in the vision that God has placed before me, to have faith in that.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Anything else like in the business world? What is going on? What else is in your portfolio? What else is in your portfolio?
I mean, right
Real estate,
now,
crypto, what else?
You're so funny. Like right now, I'm really investing in myself.
Yeah.
I'm investing in my production company, Camden Bridge.
Yeah.
My acting
Is that the name of it,
school,
Camden Bridge?
Camden Bridge.
And what goes on in the production company? You're doing your own movies there?
Yes, developing movies, scripts,
Right.
writing, producing, hiring writers to develop scripts and ideas that I have, and that is where I'm at right now. And I am so excited about Camden Bridge, and I'm so excited about the work that we're going to do for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also have the school. Again, you talked about it a little bit, but I like that school because, it's $295 a month if I saw it.
Yes,
$295
it's
a month.
affordable.
Yeah, very affordable.
Yes.
I love that school because you have a brother in there. His name is Lamar Luttrell. He was on Nerds. I was trying to say, wait a minute, I know that name. And you got Lamar Luttrell from Nerds as one of your teachers.
Yes.
I might sign up just so I can go. Right? That was a special character.
Larry B, baby.
Yes, Larry Scott, right?
Yes, Larry
yes.
Scott. But let me tell you something, it's a blessing to work with him. He's one of my main teachers there, Tiffany Black, Eric Rudo. I mean, we have Nate, we have, oh my God, Diva. It's just so many. Darlene. How about this? My childhood friend, Darlene Woods, who I grew up with, that I've known since I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
She's the manager of my school. She is running my school. When she was a kid, right, she wrote in her journal that one day she's going to be a part of a drama school. She found that journal a few years ago and was like, Tasha, look. But she was the same person when I went to LA and I was sleeping in my car at the beach, had no money. She sent me a MoneyGram that she had sent me $100.
Wow.
$100. I needed $100. She found the receipt. She sold into my life, and she still is. So thank you, Darlene.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I was asking the Olympian, the gymnastics Olympian champion, Jordan Childs, and I asked her what she would love her empire to be in one word, her business empire, and she said eternity. And I said, why? She says, because when I'm dead, I want to still be making money, right?
Yeah.
What is Tasha Smith? What's your empire in one word?
Wow, legacy?
Legacy. Why legacy?
Legacy because I feel like what's important, a lot of times, right, especially in this whole social media world, people are living just for now. People are making decisions because of now, just for the clickbait now. People aren't thinking about how things will affect their future. Even the way that we interact with each other, the way we deal with people, the way we talk to people, the way we encourage or discourage people, to me, that's part of our legacy. When I walk away from someone, I want them to say, I was blessed by her presence. She inspired me. She helped me. She motivated me. She helped me become a dreamer and pursue my dreams. I'd rather that be my legacy than something other than that.
Yeah, love it. I love it. Look ahead now, some last minute stuff, because you got to get out of here, Tasha. You're very busy, and I definitely appreciate the time. Got to have you back again.
Thank you. I would love it.
$1 million question. First million. How did you make it?
Oh, actually, how did I make my first million? Acting.
Acting. How'd you spend it?
I can't believe you're asking me that. But I feel like I have to be honest. Through getting an annulment.
Oh, wow. You spent $1 million to get divorced.
Annulled.
Annulled. So, Jesus, $1 million? That's how much it costs? Where was this annulment
It
at?
was a lot.
LA?
It was in LA.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. Jesus. Well, I'm sorry. I hope they can give you some of it
It's
back.
good. God's already given it back.
Oh,
to
that's good. That's good. I did not know annulments cost that much
Well,
money.
it took a lot of time.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm sure you don't regret that.
I
If
sure
you spent
don't.
$1 million to get it done, I'm sure you don't regret it.
It was money well spent.
100%.
It was money well spent.
100%. Black Outlook, Nielsen. Right, Nielsen.
I am so done with this.
Black
right
America,
now.
all right. Nielsen says Black America by 2026, Black America will have 2.1 trillion spending power. When you hear 2.1 trillion spending power, what comes to mind?
Excitement.
Excitement. I love it. Why excitement?
Because that means we're going to have more money to do the things we're dreaming to do.
I love it. I love it. Look around the world, right? Pick any country in the world. Where would Tasha Smith put some money to invest? Which country? Outside of the U.S.
South Africa.
South Africa. Why South Africa?
Because it's just, I have a lot of friends and family there, and I'm just in love with Joburg, and I'm in love with the people there, and there's so much rich culture there, and arts there, and entertainment there. And I feel like it's so rich.
Nice, nice. I love that. Got a LinkedIn question for you, right? I can't let you get out of here. We did go to LinkedIn and ask someone. Denise Bronner, she says, as a Black woman stepping into the director's chair, how do you assess creative authority in rooms that may be unaccustomed to seeing someone like you lead, and how do you navigate the assumptions that come with that? A very interesting question, because I saw you on Sway and you were talking about a Black man who kind of shot you down earlier as a director.
You just have to like own who you are and be confident in the story that you want to tell, and be yourself. Like, I don't believe, this is just me, I'm not a code switcher, you know, because I don't feel my creativity is guided in falsehood, right? So I can't walk in a space and try to be something that I'm not. I don't feel like I can create my best art like that. So I'm just myself. I'm a Black woman, I'm loud, you know what I mean? I have this energy, you know, but that's just who I am. But my creativity is in my truth. And that's all I can say, is to be honest with who you are, and don't be afraid of what anybody thinks about that. But your creativity comes out of your truth, period.
I love it. Well, Denise got that question out of you. I'm jealous because I thought I was going to get that. But Denise got that out of you. Favorite 3 books, right? Your top 3 books that inspire you to perform your best or motivate you.
Oh my God. Becoming a Person of Influence by John C. Maxwell. Developing the Leader Within You by John C. Maxwell. I'm a John C. Maxwell fan, because he's such a wonderful, wonderful teacher on leadership. How Successful People Think is another one that I'm reading and enjoying. And then I'm old school. I'm gonna give you a 4th one, but I'm a good old Bible girl. So
there you go.
I always love there's this scripture that says faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So I just try to like nurture my spirit. You know, I'm like, the self-help leadership stuff is important to me, because I also feel like being a director, I have to be a good leader. Being an actor, I have to be a good leader. You know, and just being a teacher, I have to be a good leader. So I just want to be able to continue to get better at that. So I tend to read more books like that.
Yeah, most definitely. We get you out of here on this, right? My favorite business book, Good to Great. What's the difference between a good director and a great one? A good director and a great one?
You know, at the end of the day, right, I feel like if you are honest and authentic, and you are clear about what your voice is as a filmmaker, then that's the difference between good and great. Honesty, authenticity, and you allowing yourself to allow your voice to be heard. Don't compare yourself to someone else. Like, I'm me. I'm not trying to compare myself to Ava DuVernay or Regina King or any other female incredible directors that I know. I'm Tasha Smith. I have to be honest about what my voice is.
Yeah.
I hope that answers you.
Oh, it does. It does. Listen, I wish we had time, because I would ask you to make me some of that garlic crab.
I want to make it for you,
please
too.
do that, right?
I'm
we can,
really
you can
good
make it on
at
set,
that.
right? After I get out of my trailer,
I
you can
swear.
eat the garlic crab. I love it.
I love to cook. I love to cook.
You from Camden?
You should see my seasoning cabinet. My seasoning cabinet is on another level.
Well, you got to have the Old Bay seasoning there.
Oh, I got all of it. I got the Old Bay. I mix my own seasonings together. I love it.
I don't want to take you back in the day to Murray's. We don't even have the time.
Okay.
Tasha Smith, thank you so much for coming to the Nasdaq. Please come back. And you got to come to the BLK Summit in the fall. We would love to have you. Thank you so much.
I would love that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me,
absolutely. You got to come. Tasha Smith, boom.
Hey.
I had to get it in there.
Boom.
I had to get it in there. You're in the Enterprise Zone. You're out of the Enterprise Zone at the Nasdaq. Thanks for watching.